With the recent ban list hitting Kindleo to 1, certain decks were affected, particularly one that I did cover a deck showcase earlier in this channel, and that's almost like a Fire Control Burn style type of deck that utilizes cards like Eruption and Krakatuga. There have been some changes that I made to this deck that I feel have gone for the better, and so I'm going to take a deeper dive into this deck list and cover some of those key highlights and how that deck has improved. So let's get right into it. Also, here's the deck list up front so that way you have it for yourself, and I'll put it in the description and a comment as well if you want to copy and paste. And so as you can see with the deck list, a lot of it is still the same thing. It's just small changes here. So I initially thought maybe thinking going the Valkyris route, adding more support with that, especially we're playing Hephaestus. But I looked closely at Hestia, and it was interesting because it allowed us to special cast one Fire Spirit Elestrals. And so we could think about Warmite Champion Hestia, our Necruffs, and even the one Kindleo, especially if we searched it too with Small Tuga. But it got me thinking that if we special cast those cards, now we can actually just normal ascend into Krakatuga more consistently. And I was just thinking about this, like, I feel like maybe I want to make that more consistent so that way we could start burning our opponents more consistently with Krakatuga and not just solely rely on Eruption in most of our games. And don't get me wrong, Eruption is a really great card, plus it's an Invoke Rune, so you could just do it whenever. You could even expend to draw and hope that you draw into it and just win the game that way too, if you do. The other cards that I consider is going more of a Earth Spirit route. There's Boltuga. I've had words and other players recommend that, trying that out and see like, hey, do I like it? Do I not like it? It's really up to you because as you can see with the spirits on the left here, I wanted to commit more with the fire side of things, but also have some water, and then of course, have enough spirits to be able to use cards like Hurricane. So depending if you want to go the Earth Spirit route, you can play like Earthquake and also Boltuga, but Hurricane is where like if they have face downs, I could just get rid of those and be able to do my thing. That's how I feel like, especially if you're going second, if your opponent commits 2 or more cards in the back row face down, and then at this point, like, okay, I'm just gonna blow out and then just do my thing and then get rid of your Celestial by attacking into it and then set it on my back row with Hestia's Hearth or even just like Gorgon's Gaze and even like Achilles, the Shield of Achilles as well, right? So that's why I wanted to at least incorporate Hurricane. What was interesting, I tried 2 Hestia and then 1 Torchin champion of Hestia, and I felt like I had to add more Fire Spirit Elestrals for Hestia to be consistently viable to special cast them. And again, we lost 2 Kindleo, so I wanted to put another one in Essence in its place, and Torchin really came to mind because when it's casted, you can search your deck for a Hestia, which searches the Divine Ruin directly, or a Torch of Hestia, which is an artifact rune that you could utilize. It foretold, you can kind of dictate your next draw, and that can also just help you find the pieces that you want in a timely manner, especially again if you are playing more of a control style. You're not so rushed to aggro essentially, so this synergizes well and you're getting something of value at that point too. The one thing I do want to point out is Astrabbit, and so this card helps with a lot of consistency. It's a good 5k shield. I felt like this deck still needed it, especially if you go first. You really don't want to cast a Kindleo, you don't want to cast a Warmite just yet. So I felt like there's got to be another card to help me set up better besides Small Tuga. And Astrabbit helps with that because you could also grab counter ruins that can help you prepare for tsunamis, Gorgon's Gaze, Shield of Achilles, and also this can also potentially dig for eruptions and also Hestia's Hearth. And I felt like keeping Astrabbit was still vital in that sense. And Hestia's Hearth, of course, not only works with Warmite, champion of Hestia, but also works with the Hestia Divine Ruin. So you could do some neat plays where you can fuel Hestia to continually special casting in future turns. There are other neat plays too if you want to take advantage of Kindleo's Nexus, where you can activate Hestia's Hearth, take one of the spirits from Hestia, the Divine Ruin, and then this is going to put back 2 anyway back on it. And so it'll essentially give you a net Fire Spirit onto Hestia, and then now you can use Kindleo to Nexus it and still have that even number of 2s that you can use for Hestia's actual skill. Hestia's Hearth actually works outside of just Warmite, essentially. So in this example, we're going to do Hestia already, and we're going first. And so we're going to give those 3 Fire Spirits so we can have 4 total on Hestia. 1, 2, 3, right there. And now we're going to actually special cast Torchin by disenchanting 2 spirits, of course, from Hestia. And now we can click on it and cast it in defense position. It's very weak, not the greatest, but it won't stay too long on the field. And then we're going to get that search, and we can either search another copy of Hestia, but I feel like that's redundant. So we're actually going to get the Torch of Hestia instead. So now we got a card back into our hand that way. Now we're going to normal ascent into Krakatuga. And again, we're going to do it in defense position. Big beefy defense too. Very hard to get over unless they have the right cards like Galaxy, for example. And again, this is first turn, so you can use Krakatuga's effect to be able to burn damage immediately by expending 2 fire spirits. And so just like that. In this example, I just want to show the Torch of Hestia kind of in action in this case. So it basically lets you stack the top 3 cards, and so you can look for things that really are prioritized for you. And so it's like, okay, I can use Astrabbit, or I can use Hestia's Hearth, or I can use Kindleo in this case. How do I want to stack them, especially for next turn? And in this case, I stack Kindleo as the first, so that way next turn I have something to pop with. And if a card like the Torch is still active, I could even Nexus off the Torch, or even my Stadium Ruin to be able to get the pop for Kindleo. In this example, I wanted to show Hestia off and being able to get 2 Necruffs onto the field and apply that pressure. So I'm going to disenchant 2 to special cast one of them. It'll die, of course, because it's out of the spirits, and then Necruff is on the field now. And then now I'm going to normal cast the second one. And now you can just apply the pressure. I plan to cover a matchup or 2 in a different video that goes more in depth of the steps, and you can kind of see how the deck plays. I feel like maybe a showing of this deck just in general would help as well. So stay tuned for that as well. And I've been enjoying this deck a lot, actually. It has a little bit of everything that you want, and it's not so committed to just like one win condition of just like basically attacking, and finally your opponent can't expand anymore. Eruption and Krakatuga literally just take it for real. Let me know in the comments below what you think too, any other suggestions too, especially as now the early access of Elestrals Clash is available to everybody. You can help support the channel for more Elestrals content using the code COMMANDERJAIME in your in-game purchases too, in Clash too. All that support goes to Clash content. And if you want to see more Clash content, check out this next video.